In JavaScript, scope refers to the visibility and accessibility of a variable. Not all variables can be accessed from everywhere in your script. There are three basic scopes: global, local, and block. Let's talk about them one at a time. Let's look at global scope. The first one, we have a variable here, ship name, that is declared outside of this function. Inside the function, in the body, we have a line of code that is trying to access that variable. Let's call the function and see if this is possible. So we'll run this. And we get transmitting identity Rocinante. So this is perfectly legal. This goes to illustrate that anything that is defined globally is accessible anywhere. Now let's go and look at local scope. So we have this function defined. It has a parameter. It has a couple of variables that are created inside. And it's pretty clear that these only exist starting here because of that let keyword. What you may not know is that a parameter is also considered a local variable because even though it doesn't have the let keyword, it's implied. So all of these are considered local, and this one is using this variable right here, just like our calculation here is using the parameter. So let's call the function first and just see what we get in the console. I'm going to call this and pass in an argument of 100 for that parameter. And we see coolant active in core 85 metric tons. What if we tried to log incoming water tons right here? We get a reference error. It has no idea that it exists. It can't see it. So it's basically as though this is a black box, and from out here, anything that's inside of here is invisible. Let's do it again with conversion factor. And I actually need to comment this one out or else we won't even get to line 30. And we get the same thing. We have a reference error, conversion factor is not defined. Okay, so this is important for you to realize that anything that's defined with a let keyword inside a function and anything that is a parameter, which is implied that it's local, cannot be accessed from out here. I'm going to comment this one out too so that our program can continue down here. So that covers global scope and local scope. What about block scope? What does that mean? This has to do with loops and conditionals because they define blocks of code, and sometimes variables are created inside those blocks of code. So if we look here, we have an array. We have a classic for loop that's going through that array element by element, and it's creating a temporary calculation by multiplying the element times 1.1. We're going to uncomment this line to see what happens when the loop runs. So let's go ahead and see. Okay, we get pod adjusted weight 22, pod adjusted weight 44, pod adjusted weight 11. So it redid the calculation for every single one of these. Now, outside this loop, let's try to log the loop variable I. Need to make this a little more visible. There we go. And we get a reference error, just like we did before. I cannot be accessed out here inside this block, which includes the loop variable, the loop condition, and the incrementation here. None of that is accessible from the outside. Same thing with this variable temporary calculation. Let me comment this one out so that it'll get to line 46 here. Yeah, and we see at line 46, temporary calculation is not defined. So I hope this helps cut down on some frustration for you when you're figuring out how to code all of this together. It really matters. You want to pay attention to where you declare it and think about where it's needed and where it needs to be visible for use. Let me make a quick commit here. And let's take a look at your practice. This is going to help you manage your visibility and try to prevent errors that can occur due to scope issues. So you'll declare some variables and log some things from different locations. And here you're going to do a little bit of what I was doing, where you're uncommenting things that already exist to check whether those variables are in scope. And here in the third one, it asks you to just take a look at everything, guess what's going to happen based on your understanding of the code, and just put your answer in a comment. For the fourth one, you're going to write a little bit more code. It'll give you some practice with thinking through the problem solving here, and then also making sure you're using variables that are in scope. That's all I've got. I will see you in the next one.